Dude, what is going on with Megyn Kelly, bro? Like, can we just... I mean, dude, I just don't understand what's going on here. The fact that Megyn Kelly is now commenting in a way that seems like slightly defending, you know, Epstein, which in turn is slightly... I don't even think it's about Epstein. I think it's about trying to minimize... I mean, think about what she's doing, guys. She is trying to downplay the crime, okay? To make it seem like, well, this wasn't really that big of a crime because these were older teenage girls that were there of their own volition. I've seen many people, even on Twitter, like big right-wing accounts saying these girls chose to be there. And I got into some of the replies about that, being like, dude, those girls didn't choose to be there. Those girls were in a trauma response. Like, all of those girls were abused in their houses and shit. They were there because of trauma and manipulation. And then once they went there once, Epstein was threatening their families. And then it became coercion. I mean, Virginia Giuffre told the story about how on her second night at the mansion, they already had a picture of her brother in the kitchen. And she's like, why is my little brother's picture here? And Epstein was like, I know where he goes to school, if you get my drift. And it was essentially made very clear to her that if she didn't continue coming back and doing what they wanted, they were going to kill her younger brother. So a 16-year-old now is like, God damn, I have to keep doing this or they're going to kill my fucking family. That's a problem, guys. That, you know, it goes beyond them choosing to be there.
As for Epstein, I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually everything. Not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like, he liked 15-year-old girls.
Dude, again, like, why does she feel like she has to make that fucking distinction? The barely legal types, like, boys will be boys, locker room talk. Like, what is she doing? And yeah, she is softening the blow for these guys. It's like, think about it. She's like, you know, softening the blow for these wealthy MAGA power mongers.
And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts. That he wasn't into like 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to a passerby. And that is what I believed, and that was what I reliably was told for many years. And it wasn't until we heard from Pam Bondi that they had tens of thousands of videos of alleged, forgive me, they used to call it kiddie porn, now they call it child sexual abuse material, on his computer, that for the first time I thought, oh, no, he was an actual pedophile. I mean, only a pedophile gets off on young children abuse videos. She's never clarified it. I don't know whether it's true. I have to be honest. I don't really trust Pam Bondi's word on the Epstein matters anymore. Yeah, so I don't know what's true about him, but we have yet to see anybody come forward and say, I was I was under 10. I was under 14.
Dude, why does that matter to her? You know what I mean? Like, really? I mean, I'm sorry, guys. If somebody's under 10, like, it certainly increases the severity of the power dynamic and absolutely is, you know, brutally traumatizing to that young person. But, like, there's no way, I don't know. I'm not looking at if she's 14 that it's somehow better or less damaging to the 14-year-old. Like, what is she fucking talking about?
When I first came within his purview. Look, you can say that's a distinction without a difference.
No, it's not.
I think there is a difference. Yeah. There's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Dude, oh, and now she goes down to 5. Did you see what she did there? Like, first she was like 15 and 10-year-old. Then she did 15 and 8-year-old. And then in the last one, she was like, there's a difference between 15 and 5. Now, the last one is like, oh my God, the toddler, dude. Dude, she's softening the blow. She's softening the blow for Trump. Even more than anything, guys, I believe that Trump is in there. I'm certain of it. You have to know that, like, these people know that Trump is in there. They know it. They're already softening the blow for him. They're already making the moves to try and, like, make this more palatable by sort of like she literally there. First off, I don't understand why that distinction even needed to be made. Why did she have to relativize, right? Why did she both sides Jeffrey Epstein's crime? What was the point of even, can't you just talk about the horrors of Jeffrey Epstein's crime? But no, she grabbed a word and then used the legitimate meaning of the word as an opportunity to both sides Jeffrey Epstein's crime, and to sort of like insinuate that somebody liking barely legal types is like okay and not really as criminal as, dude, what are you talking about? It's still grape. It's still SA. Like, you know, that's insane. That is insane. And you clearly see years ago when she was talking about Nicole Eggert and Scott Baio, she was like, wow, you couldn't consent at 14 or even 17.
You know, you feel as a victim. You feel a victim. To people who are going to be out there, because you know some are going to judge and say, you were 15, you were 16, you were 17, you were a willing participant. Again, the legal age of consent in California is 18, so there's no consenting for a 14 or even a 17-year-old in these circumstances.
And now she's like, whoa, wait a second. You know, these girls weren't 5, but like, Megyn, no shit, they weren't 5. Nobody thought they were 5. And what does like a toddler have to do with 1,000 girls being essayed by the fucking president that you like, you know, obsessively provide cover for? I mean, that's pretty wild, isn't it? Dude, they know. They know, bro. Oh my God, is that 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗏? Dude, I didn't realize who she's talking to, dude. She's talking to 𝗤𝗢𝗟𝗧𝗏 or whatever. Do you know her? This is 𝗙ηκε𝗍𝗍 girl, right? This is fucking 𝗙𝗢𝗟, the crazy Zionist that like fought with 𝗙ηκε𝗍𝗍. That is like, why are they having like this Megyn Kelly's Zionist, oh, he wasn't really a pedophile content? What are they doing, bro? That makes it even creepier. I didn't recognize her because we didn't see her. Like, all we heard was her voice, but I want to see her facial reactions to this.
As for Epstein, I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually everything. Not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like, he liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts.
Giving you facts. Dude, she was like, oh, dude, what? Dude, 𝗙𝗍𝗍𝗏, boss.
He wasn't into, like, 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to a passerby. And that is what I believed, and that was what I reliably was told for many years.
Dude, these women are so creepy. Like, who watches these women and is, like, not severely creeped out? Like, this is some Stepford Wives kind of shit. Seriously. I try to think of, like, who is their audience, right? Like, who is 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗏𝗧𝗏's audience, dude? She is so weird. She is such a fucking bizarre person now. Such a right-wing bootlicker. You know what I mean? I mean, she's like Scott Jennings on some bad acid, boss. Like, seriously.
We have yet to see anybody come forward and say, I was I was under 10. I was under 14 when I first came within his purview. Look, you can say that's a distinction without a difference.
No, it's not.
I think there is a difference. Yeah. There's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. You know, it's just whatever.
There's a difference between a 15 and a 5. All right, thank you, Megyn. There is indeed a difference between 15 and a 5-year-old, but the one question I have for you, Megyn, and for you, 𝗙𝗏𝗟, fucking Cenk Uyghur's little, like, you know, concubine, my question is why the fuck are you talking about 5-year-olds? Who even brought 5-year-olds into the conversation? Oh, I get it. You're trying to both sides his shit and like reduce they're totally both sidesing that shit. And that's crazy, man. Dude, what the fuck, dude? Dude, this is so gnarly. Dude, she's getting hammered in here too. Dude, look at this. Dude, the left is having conversations about expanding food and healthcare coverage amid a recession. And the right is talking about how Jeffrey Epstein wasn't really a pedophile, right? Dude, isn't that wild? Like, think about that. The two sides are not the same. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. You like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.